everyone, I'm PirateWalnut, I'm a GM Mercy, and today we're going to be covering how to play Mercy against Dive. Season 6 has been rough for many people, including me, but one thing I can say is my real life has been great. I'm getting job opportunities, my relationship is beyond stable, I have loving friends and family. What I'm trying to say is that if you really want to be good at Overwatch, you need your real life to fall apart. Anywho, let's start with T to figure out our goals this match. The main person I am seeing is Echo, as she will be my main damage boost target. I have a Widow that I will have to care for, as I have an Ana who will be caring for the Winston. Finally, Ana has long range heals, so as long as I am in line of sight, I can be peeled for. I make a mistake stepping out early instead of waiting for my teammates to take the hits. Sometimes you start to autopilot, especially at the start of the match, which leads to poor movement and positioning like you see here. I recommend taking one deep breath before the game begins to help you wake up, especially in long sessions. Because Echo is my main damage boost target, I need to time my GAs to her flight so I don't get left behind. Because of my bad GA usage, I miss out on a lot of damage boost value. Now that the fight is over, let's assess the enemy team. To no one's shock, if you read the title, they have a dive comp. Notable characters are mainly Sombra because she will put more pressure on my backline, meaning I must be ready to peel when needed, and Echo because of her focus beam, meaning I may need to heal Winston more so she can't beam him down. As I hover with Echo, I try to use short GAs as much as I can so I can avoid the dreaded 3-second cooldown. Once I see Ana taking damage, I fly down to top her off, then heal Winston out of critical as Ana walks out. As we are stabilizing, I get caught in the open and Sombra hacks me. Because I short GA, I'm able to quickly get out for the time being. After this, I should have pathed towards Widow rather than GA above the roof, as this exposes me more, but it does give Echo enough time to give her the 1-2 buckle her shoe. Now I just take some time to fully regen my health and go back in with Echo. I get hacked again, and thinking I will be the dive target, I fly towards Echo, but this leaves my Widow exposed and she dies for my decision making. While losing Widow is not as bad, I should have stayed with Ana to peel for her and get Valk, which would keep us both alive, and with Echo having nano, she can be alone for a bit as I try to help Granny. I Valk because I think I can clutch out this fight. I keep duplicate up and go for the res, and I almost get the res and I miss it. Had I played closer to the ground, I definitely could have gotten this res, and I'm gonna be real, I flopped hard. But it's good to not get tilted, as you always have more fights. Especially with Echo, you'll see that there is almost a rhythm to her engages. As she flies up, you fly. As she falls, you fall. For some, you may not be able to feel it, but for others, notably my Filipinos, you may see it and be able to be synced with your DPS. Try looking for these opportunities with characters like Sojourn, Echo, and Farah to help aid in beam up time. With the ping on Sombra, I cancel GA to make sure I can support Ana before I fly to Echo. I stay connected to Ana as much as I can before the beam disconnects, then focus my resources on Echo so I can help confirm kills. While Ana dies in the end, we trade 1 for 3, and while in the perfect world you would keep everyone alive, sometimes you have to choose between one or the other, in this example Ana or Echo, in order to win fights. I res Echo just so she can set up early for the next fight, as this high ground will be very important for us to take as a dive comp. While we are here, I'm gonna ask really quick to subscribe. I'm gonna try to hit 1K by the end of the year, and by subbing it shows that you enjoy my content and it means a lot to me. You'll see that with this res, my team can easily take high ground and it leads to my Widow getting a kill. Especially on payload maps, you can snowball through taking advantage of space, and while Mercy does this through pocketing and resing to keep tempo, this concept should be integrated into all of your games, regardless of character. I'm honestly not scared of the D.Va right now, especially without a Mercy, and with the comp that they are running, I'm willing to risk it to keep Echo alive. This Valk was not needed, and I was expecting him to commit to a fight, especially with them using D.Va Bomb, but I should expect less from Overwatch players. If you do mess up Valk, the Mercy Bible always says, PirateWalnut 3-5. Trust in the damage boost with all your heart. As I wait for the next fight, I make sure to not stay in one place, so Sombra has a harder time hacking me because I know she wants me. I should have looked at scoreboard because I would have known that Echo had ult. This would have made me stay with the Widow and help her against the Genji. Because of this, Genji gets a free entry into my backline. I know I could have stayed with Ana, but if I go into that room, it will cut me off from the rest of my team, and if Ana dies, I will too. I kinda wish she stayed outside because 1, I would be able to help her, and 2, so the rest of the team could help her if she pinged the Genji rather than isolating herself. My main goal is to get it alive, and especially with how scrappy the fight is, I could get a res if I succeed. Also, this Genji just needs to go. Once Winston makes space, I can go for this res and things are looking up. Yeah, until they become boosted and fly straight to point. There are a multitude of positions I could have taken instead of that. Either the main high ground with the Widow or the windows behind me. I should not have died here if I didn't lower my guard. Serves her right. There isn't more I could do except short GA and be in their brig. It is nice that Widow dealt with her though. With fights at checkpoints, don't be afraid to use your ult here. In most situations, it's better to potentially over ult and cap the point than try to be cheap and lose the point, especially when you get extra time for captures. Honestly, this happens sometimes, and it's one of my pet peeves with myself that I do. Best thing to do is just be patient with your GA usage. I'm gonna take this time to note some of the team comp changes that have happened. 1, my Ana swap to Brig, which isn't necessarily bad because she was struggling to live. I will have to peel for Winston more if needed. 2, the enemy now has Genji and Winston. My playstyle will most likely stay the same since it's still dive, but I should try to track Genji's dash so I don't get caught out. Yeah, that's my 13th reason. I could have started the res lower, but yeah, that just sucks. Honestly, this next play is also bad, especially as this fight is looking unwinnable. I should be playing farther back instead of playing very close to my team, especially because Winston isn't here. His position is more exposed than it looks, and the enemy is taking space quickly. Because I don't respect the space the enemy is taking, I get dived very quickly and I take a completely avoidable death. As I come back from spawn, we get a kill on the Sombra, and I know it will be time for us to be aggressive. As I prepare to follow Echo, I see Widow needs help, so I try to help, but with the Primal Winston attacking, and Brig without armor packs, it's a bit of a lost cause. I would res, but Genji just got juiced up, and I don't want to be slice and dice, so I need to play for myself. I could have taken the risk and helped Echo, but I would be in kissing distance of the Genji, and with me almost with Valk, it's a risk I'm not willing to take. I play in bubble just because it's the safest place for me to go and to get Brig armor. I could have stayed inside for longer, then fly to the hallway, but I make a bad GA. If this happens, at least make it a short GA or cancel early. Now that I have Valk, all I have to do is fly up to avoid the blade. This only really works because he is right on me, and it's hard to hit someone directly above you. Just note that all blades are different sizes, shapes, lengths, and the best practice is to fly to someone far when he dashes. Sombra is low, so I take my chances to get her. Winston leaps off point, so I jump on to make sure we don't C9, which leaves Widow exposed and she dies. Before I can res Widow, I need to stabilize Brig. It's always a good practice to make sure your team is safe before resing. After this, we are pretty much in the clear for this round as Widow has free reign and the enemies are staggering onto point. I'm doing viewer VOD reviews for my next video, so if you're in need of some free coaching, check the description or the pinned comment and fill out the form to potentially be on my next video. I hope to see your game there, and I can't wait to watch. We're running a similar comp, so Echo will still be my pocket target. I'm mainly going to be ping-ponging around the high ground to stay alive. You'll see that I do drop off of high ground in order to stay in range of Echo. This is okay to do, especially since the enemy doesn't have the ground to make this open space dangerous. Just be wary of any comp that has quick rotations or even just a simple speed boost from Lucio to aid your decisions. I could have healed Winston as he was critical, but in the moment I inadvertently made the right decision as he was too low to save by myself. If Ana was healing him, me making the choice to keep pocketing Echo would be the wrong choice. I should have just super jumped. They do not have any real hit scan threats, and by doing this I put myself in a bad position, which leads me into enemy territory and in a bad angle for GA. Honestly, there isn't much to call at this moment besides keeping distance and damage boosting to confirm kills. This is the less flashy part of Mercy, but a core part of her gameplay. I make a bad decision following Echo this deep, and I should have just let her die. Sometimes I put too much trust on random people on the internet, just like the Minecrafters. I did not need to fly here. If anything, this complicates things when I could just be pocketing Soldier in the back, and if I did, he wouldn't have died to this flank. Luckily, I have res and this mistake is erased, just like support Symmetra. There's a good habit I want you all to create, and that is positioning like you are not in Valk right before Valk ends. There are times where low rank Mercies hover aimlessly above enemy territory, then get caught out once Valk ends because they did not account for the sudden change. While this example is without any enemies, getting into the habit of this can really help your survivability. Also, this is your daily reminder to track ults and any swaps during downtime. Ashe hasn't ulted yet, so I should expect Bob next fight. D.Va flying the high ground means this res is not possible, so I stay with Echo. As we back up, I make sure to stabilize Ana as she backs up to a better position. I'ma be real, I do not know why my Winston, without ult, jumped in when Ana's getting pelted by D.Va and Moira is ulting. By the time he comes back, he is basically 6 feet under, so I choose to ensure that Ana lives. In order to give my team any chance of winning this fight, I stall point to create space for Visor, which unfortunately gets gobbled by the projectile gobbler. And with Bob in our backline, it forces me into a bad position, leading to me and my team dying. I know someone in the comments is probably going crazy about how many deaths I have, but I want to highlight my deaths in relation to the enemy. While it's always good to minimize the amount of deaths you have, and some may say I have a lot, to be quite frank, me and Ana have less deaths than the enemy supports, which allows us to output more support to our team, and honestly, unless you are going into the Overwatch League, as long as you are making less punishable mistakes than the enemy, you are playing fine. I'm not saying sacrifice your life all the time, but more of don't gush over stats too much and just focus on doing a good job. This high ground on Dorado is one of Mercy's best spots, especially with how much of the map is covered by it. You should always default back to there whenever possible. I prioritize beaming Echo on the ground as Widow is up front and I do not want to be like Marie Antoinette. Also, I recommend using Toggle GA off if you can, as one of the pains of having it on is slower GA cancels. I personally do not use it for dexterity reasons, but it does disadvantage me a bit as I sometimes overpeak a roof trying to stay with a flyer. My Ana is pushed up very far, so I need a Valk just to make sure I can keep my DPS up. Knowing that this Genji can and will try to burst down my Widow, I need a body block for her, and with the constant regen, I can take a lot of damage. It's plays like these that make me love Mercy and DPS hate Mercy more, and I love it. Because Winston is dead, we are going to need to back up now. Instead of diving with Echo, I stay with Widow since she is getting dived. I kind of freeze up, and I should have just moved into Bank or go under the arch, instead of just sitting in this corner. I wanted to follow Echo and maybe help her get ult, but she is too risky to fly to, so I default back to high ground. I should have flown straight to high ground rather than hover in the open because of their Widow. I tunnel vision trying to help the Echo again and expose myself to the Widow, which makes me panic and I die in the end. Unfortunate, but hey, tactical reset as I would say. As we approach our last fight, let's analyze what we need to do. We don't have many ults, so we need to get an early pick to win. Tracer is a recent swap, so I shouldn't expect Pulse Bomb, and Ana and Genji used ults 2 fights ago, so they won't be close. Moira and Winston did an ult recently, so I should expect stuff from them. I don't have to be as scared of being in the open as long as I keep my distance from the main dive, especially with the swap to the Tracer. To be honest, this Tracer pick is not that great, especially with how much high ground there is and her lack of vertical mobility, but hey, it's not my Tracer, so I could care less. With both Ana's down and Winston wasting his ult hitting imaginary people, I'm in a pretty good spot. Once I give Valk, it'll be smooth sailing to the end. I could have body blocked for Widow, but I am prioritizing living for Valk, so I just wait to res her. Definitely could have made the res safer by doing it closer to the edge, but I know my Ana is near and I use his jump to repel me away from him. I have Valk and it's a 3v5, so I play aggressive. I focus on keeping duplicate up so she can finish the kill on Ana, then fly the peel Widow through Cole. Small tip, you can stand near your teammate when they throw damage orbs so you can spread out the damage rather than have your teammate take all of it. Well, she finally got pulse bomb after her team is dead. Anywho, it's a win! Thank you so much for watching. Right now is the road to 1k subs before 2024, and it would mean a lot if you subscribed and also liked and comment to help push out this video. Thank you again, and until next time, bye bye!